All right, so this first lesson is going to be on evaluating and simplifying expressions. So this is something that we've done throughout the semester, but it's just kind of reviewing and putting it all into one lesson. You're going to kind of see that some of these lessons for this chapter are going to be reviewed just because I'm trying to do my best to get you guys prepared for geometry. And so a lot of these concepts that we're talking about, we're going to use in geometry next year, and that's what we're going to focus on. So with that said, let's go over just the different parts of an expression and what they're called. So you've heard me use this word a lot, hopefully, but just clarifying that any number that is in front of a variable, okay, which I guess we can go ahead and label this one, right? This is a variable. All right, but any number that lies in front of my variable is called my coefficient. Okay, so this is vocab that we've used throughout the year. And then this number off by itself is just a constant. Okay, so here are some vocab words that we're using. So when I'm looking at this, someone could tell us, okay, x is equal to 2 and y is equal to 1, and we could evaluate, or they cannot give us any values whatsoever and just be asked to simplify this. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. There's two different things that we can do when we're given a math problem. And sometimes we can do both, okay? So, but let's look at evaluating first. So we're going to substitute, which is something we've done a lot. We're going to substitute and then evaluate. So it's telling me this is my expression. Sorry, the shadow is always in the way. Okay. It's giving me this expression, and then it's telling me, okay, y is equal to 5 and z is equal to -2. Okay, so how I usually explain this to people is that y and 5 is kind of like on a sports team. They play the same position. So if you have like a running back or two running backs on your team that are more than that, but let's say you have two running backs, one's on the sidelines, the other one's in the field, and one's really tired and you need to switch them out, right? That's basically what these two do. They're playing the same position and you can use them interchangeably. So instead of having y here, I could put a 5 here. Instead of having a z here, right, I could put a -2. Okay, they play the same position. So that means I don't want both of them in there. So what I see a lot of people do is they'll keep the y in there and the 5. And you don't want two people playing the same position a lot of times. Like if you had two quarterbacks, that would not be good. So you just want to make sure that you're kicking that other one out and then replacing it. So let's do that. Anywhere we see a z, we're going to replace the -2. And anywhere where we see a y, we're going to leave everything else the same. So the parentheses, the plus sign, everything else we're going to leave the same. And then the y, we're going to replace it with a 5. Okay? So then it's really important that we leave those parentheses there because they tell us a real big piece of information. Okay? Normally if you're using PEMDAS, okay, which is my order of operations, okay, we usually, oh, I forgot my D. PEMOS. I do that so much. I forget the D. But anyways, D comes before addition. So you would normally do this part first and then add. But because those parentheses comes first, P is our first thing. So we're going to do -2 plus 5, and that's 3. 3 divided by 3 is just 1. Okay, so that would be my answer here. So I have evaluated. All right, so let's look at this next problem. Same thing. We're kicking these things out of this equation and plugging in our numbers, okay? So instead of a y, I'm going to put a 2. Instead of an x, I'm going to put a -6. And notice we don't have any parentheses here, okay? So we're going to have to take PEMDAS out again. And then we have a division sign and then 6. So PEMDAS, okay, we can see that multiplication comes before division. So I'm going to first multiply. 2 times -6, which is -12, and then I'm going to carry down the divided by 6, and so we have -12 divided by 6, which is -2. So actually, right, if I did division first, right, I would get a -1 here, and then 2 times -1 would give me a -2. So it really didn't matter the order this time around, but it definitely did for this last one. Okay, so let's keep going. All right, if you want to pause it and try these next two, you can, but we're going to go over them. All right, again, I'm going to kick out the r and plug in a -2, kick out the q, plug in a -1. So r, I'm going to plug in a -2. Keep everything else the same, minus q, which is, I'm going to put that in parentheses. Okay, and that's something to know too. If you are plugging in a negative number, a lot of times it's good to use parentheses because you'll know you're still multiplying by a negative here. Okay, and then we're gonna plug in the -2. Okay. All right, so we see parentheses, but there's no operation that we're using inside our parentheses. So we're still gonna just follow PEMDAS as far as what it tells us. So if it helps to write this every single time you're doing these problems, that's fine. But we're going to do multiplication before division. So we have a bunch of multiplication going on over here. So let's do that first. So we have a negative times the -1, so it's going to be +1. Okay, so +1 times the -2 would give me -2. And if you need to write this out in 2 steps, you can, and just change it to 1, right, times -2. Okay, because we're kind of just distributing that negative here. Okay, and then we'll do this. A -2, which that'll be -2 divided by 2 minus 2. Okay, then we're going to go back to PEMDAS over here, and we always do division before we do subtraction. So make sure you're dividing first. So -2 divided by 2 would give me -1. -1 minus 2 is -3. Okay, so notice if I did this subtraction first, right? 2 minus 2 is 0. Can I divide anything by 0? No, I can't. So notice doing division and following PEMDAS is really important for this problem. All right, next one. All right, so again, we're just going to plug it in. We're going to do what's inside our parentheses first. So 4 plus 1 is 5. Or division comes before subtraction. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. 1 minus 5 is -4. So again, right, I can't do 5 minus 5 and then we'd have something where we broke math, right? We can't divide by 0. So again, very important that we do division before we do subtraction. All right? Okay, so you guys try these 3, and then I'm going to go over the answers. All right, here we go. I'm going to do it really fast. Okay, so I'm going to plug in z, which is -3 plus 7 divided by 2. -3 plus 7 is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. I'm going to plug in q and r. So r is -4. I'm going to plug in q, which is 5. Plug in r, which is -4. I'm going to multiply before I'm going to divide. So let's go ahead and multiply those out. So we get -4 divided by 2. And then we have actually a negative, or we could do, yeah, we do 5 times -4, which is -20. And so it would be a -20. So that's going to become +20. Okay, and if you're not sure, kind of just think of this as like a -1. -1 times 5 times 4, -4, sorry, will give me a +20. All right, so then after that, we're always going to do dividing before addition. So this becomes -2. -2 plus 20 is 18. All right, and then over here, 6 times -10 divided by 3. Multiplication comes before division. So -60 divided by 3 is -20. And that is our answer. So that is evaluating. Now we're going to get to simplifying. And so simplifying is something we've done a lot of, okay? But basically we're just going to multiply anywhere we can multiply or distribute, and then we're just going to combine like terms, okay? So, and then your answer is going to be not something like x is equal to whatever. It's just going to be an expression. Okay, so for this first one, we're going to use our distributive property. I'm going to distribute the negative 2. So we get 4x minus 14. 2 times 7 is 14. And then negative 2 times negative 6 is going to be positive 12x. And then from there, I'm just going to combine my like terms. And we get positive 8x, and we are done. All right, this next one, same thing. I'm going to distribute negative 20a squared, and then negative 12 plus 8a, okay? In this one, we don't have any combined like terms, but there is something called putting it in standard form, where we take our highest power and rearrange it take it in our lowest, to put it in our, from highest power to lowest power, sorry. And so we've done this before, so if we wanted to rearrange it in standard form, we'd start with a squared, then we'd go to 8a, and then we bring it down to our constant. So that's just the more proper answer, but we can't combine anything there because we don't have any like terms. All right, I'm going to keep going. If I'm going too fast, feel free to pause it and rewind it. All right, I'm going to distribute the 7, so we get negative 42. 7 times negative 6 is negative 42, and then we have another negative 42, but this time we have a k with it. 8k, we're going to combine our like terms here. And so we have negative 42 minus, I think 36k. No, it might be 34k. I think it is 34k. Sorry, I subtracted wrong. 34k. All right, and then again, this is not in standard form, so I'm just going to switch these two to where my variable, I did it again, we're at 36, 34, the variable first and then the constant. Okay, now for this next one, I'm distributing the negative 6, negative 6p minus 60 minus 10p to the third power, or p cubed. And then again, I'm just going to, I can't combine anything, so I'm just going to rearrange with the highest power first. And that is my final answer. All right, so you guys can pause the video and try these last 4, and then we will be done with this lesson. All right, so we're going to go over these 4. Go ahead and just check your answers with me. So I'm going to distribute negative 5 minus 21 plus 6x. Okay, I'm going to combine, I forgot my x here. I'm going to combine like terms, so we get negative 21 plus x, or x minus 21. All right, and then we're going to do the same thing here. Okay, and then again, I'm just going to rearrange in standard form. All right, moving down over here. Okay, so we get 4 times negative 5, which is negative 20. Negative 32k plus k. We'll combine like terms. This is a 1k, so this is 31. Then I'll do negative 31k minus 20. Their final answer. Distribute my negatives, so negative p minus 12 minus 5p to the third. We don't have any like terms here, so I'm just going to rearrange in standard form, highest power to lowest power. And we're done. So that is evaluating and simplifying. Hopefully that felt like review for you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. If you need to rewatch this video at any point because I was going too fast, please feel free to do that. Or email me if you have any questions on the homework. All right, God bless. Love y'all. Bye.